All right, so today we're going to be talking about drawing conclusion. A conclusion is kind of an answer that you come to based on things that you already know. So I wish you could be here for our fun lesson that we were going to do today. I couldn't really think of how to transfer that to a video, but we'll just walk through this page together and then you'll try the other page on your own. So this says read the story, then use the information in the story plus what you already know about how things happen in real life to draw conclusions. In the charts, write your conclusions and the information you use to draw them. All right, let's read the story together. Joel was trying to make popcorn on the stove. Suddenly, the oil in the pan he was using caught fire. Joel ran down the hall and pounded on his neighbor's door. "Help! Fire!" he shouted. Mr. Johnson opened his door and asked, "What's going on?" "I set a pan on fire. It has oil in it," Joel shouted. Mr. Johnson quickly wheeled toward Joel's apartment. Joel followed Mr. Johnson inside. The oil in the pan was still burning, but the fire had not spread. "Get me the lid for that pan," Mr. Johnson ordered. Joel pulled a lid out of the cupboard and handed it to Mr. Johnson, who carefully covered the pan. Okay, so this asks us to draw a conclusion about whether any adults were at home with Joel. So Joel ran out into the hall to try to get help. What do I know in real life about this situation? I know that Joel would have asked people if they were home. Joel would have asked an adult at home for help. Usually that's what someone would do, right? In real life, someone would not run out into the hallway unless that was their last resort. They would ask someone who was in their house for help. By the way, I probably should have told you this. This is in an apartment. This takes place in an apartment. So when it says that he ran out into the hall, that doesn't mean like the hall in his house. That means the hall like where the apartments are. So then he knocked on his neighbor's door. So our conclusion is no adults were home. And then this asks us to draw a conclusion about how serious the fire was. A story detail, let's look. It said that the oil was in the pan was still burning, but the fire had not spread. So a story detail is the oil was burning, but had not spread. In real life, we know that a fire that's only in a pan is dangerous, but not yet very serious. So our conclusion is the fire was not very serious. All right, let's look at our next page. Over. All right, this says to read the paragraph, then answer the question in the third box below to draw a conclusion. So Julia helped Vani get into the raft. Then she tightened the straps on Vani's life jacket for her. "Next, I'll show you how to hold the paddle," Julia said. So our story detail is that Vani needed help getting into the raft, tightening her life jacket and holding the paddle. What I know is that people who are doing something for the first time need a lot of help. So what conclusion can you draw? What do you then know about Vani? You'll have to do that one on your own. And then read the next two paragraphs and draw another conclusion. "We're coming to a really big cascade," shouted Julia. Vani's eyes grew wide as she looked ahead. She felt afraid, but mostly excited. She had handled the first few rapids well. Now she felt ready to run a big one. So our story detail is that Vani felt more excited than afraid as she headed into the rapids. This one says people who look forward to new challenges are brave. So again, what does that tell us about Vani? All right, that's all you have to do for reading. And then For grammar, you need to do page 48. This is where it's going to get a little bit challenging. I'll write out for you, and you might want to do this here, to remind yourself what plural is, what singular possessive is, and what plural possessive is. Sorry, I'm going off the page a little. So plural would be like cats. There's just more than one cat. Singular possessive means there's one cat and something belongs to that cat. And plural possessive means that there's multiple cats and something belongs to them. So we're identifying each of these as either plural, singular possessive, or plural possessive. So the boys' trip down the river was exciting. That is going to be plural possessive because it is talking about more than one boy. And we know that because it just has an apostrophe on the end there. I put the children's names on their backpacks. That one's also plural possessive, and here's why. Children is plural. We know that children is talking about more than one child, and then it made it possessive. The kayak's paddle was missing. It's only talking about one kayak, so that's going to be singular possessive. There were 2 seats in the large kayak. That is going to be plural because there's no apostrophe. It just means that there's more than one seat. It's not talking about anything belonging to the seats. All right, you're going to try that part on your own. Then here, you do not need to rewrite each sentence. And you just need to take these words in parentheses and fill in the blank. So the student's favorite activity is to hike the trails near the school. It's talking about more than one student. So we need to make it plural possessive, which means it already ends in an S, so we're just going to put an apostrophe there. Adina knows which of the trail's signs to follow. It's only one trail, so we're going to write it like that. And I'm going to let you try those ones on your own as well. All right, that's all I've got for you for your reading video and your reading assignments today. Yeah, I think I'm looking back. Yep, that's all you've got. You have a spelling page as well to do. You've got this. Let me know if you have any questions.